So, do you remember how unidentified flying object got into our lives? Where did we first hear about it? Where did we first hear about UFO concept? When did we watch the first alien invasion themed movie? How scared we were? So, welcome to our new video where we exactly cannot answer any of these questions. Many of you know the joke of Orson Welles that made its mark on history. Welles, who also voiced the novel that The War of the Worlds book, which was written by Herbert George Wells in a radio broadcast in 1938 as a radio theater, it caused one of the most interesting misunderstandings in history of humankind. The aftermath was very great hysteria and the paranoia that would not lose its effect even during the Cold War period. Well, it's true that Wells' choice was very meaningful. Well, that resulting mass hysteria inspired many Hollywood filmmakers in the years that followed. Of course, today we can make some predictions about our close contacts with the third kind based on what history brings us. We can say that communication with alien life forms are possible in certain periods in humanity.
That's a proper introduction.
But after 1947, when the people of the world, we all Earthlings, fell into the midst of Cold War paranoia, the concept of aliens began to feed on completely different topic: xenophobia. Just a few years after the Cold War broke out, alien invasion-themed movies are also rapidly becoming popular. For example, Invasion of Body Snatchers, The Thing from Outer Space, The Day the Earth Stood Still, and The War of the Worlds, which became a paranoia left with Welles' pretty imagination. It will not be right to say that all of these movies are built on the same philosophy, but they all have one thing to common: the intelligent being who come to invade our world to end of our domination over the planet. These issues gradually became America's huge magnet for paranoia, because the people were convinced the communism, which would infiltrate the country, somehow was a virus that would end all freedoms. The American dream could ruin up forever if the Red Hats infiltrate their social life. Well, can you believe that? Someone, somehow, did. The filmmakers did not hesitate to stress that the extraterrestrial civilization might have the same intentions, so much so that this dominant theme was consumed with great appetite after the Cold War was over. After all, the Red Hats did not become the biggest enemy that could threaten the American dream. Well, you know, Uncle Sam made new enemies for himself. In time, it took advantage of the power of allegory while reflecting these enemies to the cinematic arena. In addition, the hardening of space race of America and Russia has made the science fiction genre a huge battlefield arena. Well, before the end of the last millennium, the cinematic arena had truly turned into a symphony of apocalypse. You know, maybe you remember of these days: volcanoes, earthquakes, floods, and some special guest aliens. Although the subject of the alien invasion gives place benevolent examples after 70 years, it has not lost anything of its influence. Okay, Spielberg wanted to show the audiences that aliens could be very naive with E.T. We can say that he succeeded even partially. But Mars Attacks, one of Tim Burton's most mischievous jokes, showed us that behind of all of this sweetness can lie very devilish plans once again. Well, the whole world separates the two poles of the Cold War period to one side. Look how the extraterrestrial cult went in Turkey exactly. Of course, like the concept of alien invasion has become a parody material for Turkey for many years, well, this approach was not limited to cartoons or some comedy contents. Also, maybe some of you know about that. Some aliens falling inside of the borders of Turkey, they were chased by throwing stones. Sometimes they got a nice and clean beating and had to turn their galaxy. But this was not exactly always the main case. Well, I said that in the 50s, a rush of alien invasion movies started roughly, especially in Hollywood cinema. In the same period, Turkey has infected from same genre. In 1955, director and scriptwriter Orhan Acin succeeded in creating the first known example of this genre with the movie named Unidentified Flying Objects in Istanbul, originally Uçan Daireler İstanbul'da. The movie also first known science fiction movie which was shot in Turkey. Okay, hands down quickly. I'm aware that the definition of Turkish Independence Day with very high clickbait dosage doesn't meet the main content of the movie. But I also don't know how much definitions such as Turkish today, the earth stood still. Let's face it, Turkish War of the Worlds was a really brilliant idea and now I regret it. This movie has an avant-garde content which compared to Western examples. Trust me, this claim is so real. Well, a few dozen beautiful and sexy women from Mars visit Istanbul to find the most affectionate man in the galaxy. What a right place, huh? Moreover, their search is accompanied by the Jetsons' sympathetic housemate robot Rosie, or possibly a strange robot that is her distant cousin or something like that. Obviously, there are many things that affect the movie. For example, Devil Girl from Mars, directed by David McDonald, is the one of the most important production of these influences. The idea of an alien woman coming into our world increases in this case for 6 times. Actually, Martian women are not just looking for men to get married. To cope with the inequality on their planet, they must dominate the Martian men there. In fact, they seek a power union with earthly men. Well, how cute, isn't it? Let's continue. Well, dance choreography is just like a bold Bollywood movie in terms of focusing of alien women looking for men to marry, high dosage of absurd humor, cheap but interesting decors that can be considered sympathetic. So, because of all these situations, it has a unique concept. I don't know how correct it's to evaluate it as a Turksploitation literally, but compared to examples in the Universal Cinematic Arena, it's not easy to say that it failed with all the cinematic exams. And you know, I just wonder it. What kind of earthly man will not want to try his luck with a very sexy and beautiful Martian woman? Think about it, fellas. Farewell.